Okay, so we just read the Wednesday Wars May chapter, and this chapter I actually really liked, and it's making me wonder how the ending will be, but because then we will have one more chapter left. So you will find this in the 7A Google Classroom, the attached link, and for the questions, or you can find the questions from Mrs. Soper Stevens' Google Classroom as well. So let's get started. What does the Hometown Chronicle report about the renovation of Yankee Stadium? Who will this news benefit and how? So Kowalski and Associates received the Yankee Stadium to rebuild it, received that offer, and that means now Merrill won't move. This also means that job costed in the millions. So compared to Hood and Associates winning over the middle school, which one kind of seems bigger, Yankee Stadium or Camilla Junior High? Yankee Stadium, right? So this is now benefiting Merrill Lee's, family and pretty much everything. So then, sorry, my phone just fell. Sorry about that. So then for 2, what do Mr. Hood and his daughter argue about over dinner? How does the argument end? So his daughter says that she is going to Columbia. And he's like, no, you're not. And she's like, yes, I am, to find herself, whatever. And, still, Mr. Hood's like, no, you're not. So then, she leaves the table because she's upset, and it doesn't really end that great. Mr. Hood feels like he did win the argument, I think he kind of just brushes it off, oh, whatever. But then, what big purchases, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So their argument, ends pretty not great, right? And, he's like, you will be going to Columbia University when lima beans fly. That's rude. So then it says, that was the last night my sister came down for supper. Every night afterwards, she'd take her plate and eat in her room, along with the Beatles in their yellow submarine. So, they fought, and now she's like, I'm not coming down for dinner anymore. So obviously you could tell her feelings were hurt. So then Mr. Hood, I feel like, isn't really paying attention to her feelings. And, next thing he does is he goes out and buys a new Ford Mustang convertible. It was white with a genuine red leather interior. It had an AM/FM radio. It had a 390 big block V8 engine with a stick shift 4-speed transmission that could go up to 160 miles per hour. So it was sweet. It was a really cool car. And then it says, how does Holling describe the way his father handles and displays it? So he parks the Ford Mustang outside all day so his neighbors can see. It's the perfect car that matches the perfect house. And, he wants everybody to know, that's his car. Because Chet, the friend of Holling's sister, he drives a yellow VW Bug. So I'm guessing I'm not really that good with cars, but I'm guessing those are those yellow Volkswagen Bugs. And with flower decals on it. So do you think Mr. Hood really wants people to think that he's just that would be possibly his car? No, right? So he makes like it very well known that this new Ford Mustang is his car. He drives it every night. You know, he's so happy about it. He parks it right in front. And then when, you know, it starts to get dark outside, then he pulls it in the driveway. Like every day, he just wants to display it. So, and his wife goes, so every night they go driving, and his wife goes too, and they seem happy. So then, something happens. So 4, what message does Holling's sister leave in a note on her bed? How do Mr. and Mrs. Hoodhood respond to react to the news? Read the passage below. For supper, my mother set only 3 plates. She did not cook lima beans. She did not say anything while my father swore up and down that my sister had made her decision, that she would have to live with it, that he wouldn't send her a dime, not a dime. If she got in trouble, that she better not call him because he was likely to tell her exactly what he thought of her. Didn't she realize that this didn't help his business reputation of chances of Chamber of Commerce businessmen of 1968? So the last sentence really tells where the father's mindset is, that it's more of his look and reputation of his daughter just fleeing off to a college, right? Like packing her bags going, doesn't say much. And the note she left was, by the time you read this, I will be somewhere on the highway heading toward the Rocky Mountains with Chet. I'll call when I can. Don't worry, and don't try to follow me. For a mother or father to receive that, it's a lot, right? Like your daughter just left for a 4-year school. Like you don't know, like there weren't any cell phones back then either. So it's not like you could be like, text me when you're close, like text me, you know, for a check-in. So that was a lot, and how he's handling it seems as though he cares more about his reputation than the safety and well-being of his daughter right now. And you can also do this optional activity too if you would like, but I'm just going to go through the questions. What does Holling ask Mrs. Baker to no longer call him? Why does Holling ask Mrs. Baker to no longer call him Mr. Hoodhood? What does this show about him? So after his father showed the feelings and reacted the way he did when his sister left, Holling was kind of like, okay. So Mrs. Baker always calls him Mr. Hoodhood, and Holling said, I don't want that anymore. Like, I'm not my father. This reminds me of my father when he called me Mr. Hoodhood, and I'm not him. So Mrs. Baker's like, okay. So, then it says, read the following passage and explain how